What's up everyone, it's IcePick13 here and it's time for another Games on the Weekend, a small news show surrounding the gaming and content creation spaces. If you like what you see, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons as it always helps me out, as well as drop a comment down below to share your thoughts on this week's stories. SEGA is closing the remainder of their arcade business, effectively leaving the arcade industry. They started closing arcades during 2020, which as we all know was a pretty bad year in general, but especially for arcades. At this time, SEGA shifted 85% of its arcades to a company called Genda Incorporated, and now the rest of the arcades will be offloaded to Genda Inc. as well. This arcade closure is a trend we've been seeing in Japan for a while now, which, according to the Eurogamer article, which I'll have linked down in the description below, is something the locals have been resistant to. Now it seems the only way we'll be able to visit a SEGA arcade is to play Yakuza. Great game, but now I'll be reminded that those SEGA arcades no longer exist. PC Gamer dropped an article that interviews the original video game streamer. In the early 90s, a public access show aired via Tucson's public access network called Games and More, run by one JJ Styles, or otherwise known as Zot the Avenger. The article goes through Styles' time running and airing Games and More, which was an impressive feat for a then 12-year-old, and on public access no less. He talks about the pilot episodes, fears of what may come as a result of the show, trolls, and the like. It's a very good read, and the article also embedded an entire episode of Games and More, so you can check it out for yourself. It's pretty interesting to see where video game related media started, as far as content created by regular people and not big companies. Good stuff. Now, I know I talk a lot about Battlefield, so I'll make this one quick. With the rumor floating around about Battlefield 2042 possibly going free to play, it's possible that it might only be one part of the game and not the whole experience that will go free to play. Now, to elaborate, and I want to make sure I say this is completely speculation on my part. There's no news articles, there's no leaks or anything like that. This is just me doing the brain thing right now. It's possible that DICE and EA may want to make Hazard Zone the free-to-play mode in 2042. This may seem like a bad move, but here's my reasoning for this. It's a mode that echoes the Battle Royale or Escape from Tarkov-like genres. Having specialists makes sense for this mode, and it's one of the game's least played modes, at least from what I can tell and in my experience. Assuming that DICE does decide to introduce classes into 2042's core game modes in All Out War, then the specialists could remain in Hazard Zone. I feel like Hazard Zone has its own problems, but if those could be rectified, I feel like specialists having a dedicated home in that specific game mode would be more acceptable than having them in All Out War. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Let's move on. Next, I wanted to start a segment of the show called What Are You Playing?, where I talk about a game or two that I've been playing since the last episode, and you can share your gaming experiences as well. Hell, I might even feature a comment in the following Games on the Weekend. For me, lately, it's been a lot of Apex Legends. The new season is coming up, so I'm trying to get what I can done on the Battle Pass before the current season is over. I just unlocked Fuse as well, and after playing him enough, I could see why people like playing him. He's a pain to go up against, but a joy to play as you can see in the following clip.
Throw your shit right at them. Good shit. You're shredding one. One's down.
I think one of them has a gold.
Is that it?
That's it.
Alright, nice.
Good shit, baby! I also just picked up Ground Branch, which I haven't played much of yet, but I'm excited to see what the game is all about. If I feel like it would make a good video on its own, I might try and get one made talking a bit more about it, similar to my Battlefield critique, which I'll have available in an iCard if you wanted to check that out. If that's something you'd like to see for Ground Branch, let me know in the comments down below. Before we get to the next part of the video, if you like what you see, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, as that absolutely helps me out to grow the channel. Any links to these stories will be provided in the description down below, along with my social media links, should you wish to follow me on those platforms as well. With that being said, on to the big story. It's now rumored that a Warzone sequel is in the works. While a sequel to a Battle Royale that already has so much content embedded within it is strange, it's also somewhat understandable, as having to work on a game with so many cosmetics and weapons can possibly get cumbersome over time. Rather than deal with all of that, A true sequel to Warzone with a fresh start may make sense. I'll have a Dexerto article in the description for additional details. For right now, the rumor is that we'll get Warzone 2 sometime in 2023, but it'll be for current gen consoles and PC only, leaving behind PS4 and Xbox One. In addition to this, any skins, weapons, blueprints, etc. may not carry over to Warzone 2. With that in mind, Warzone will still be supported for those that aren't on next gen or PC just quite yet. However, it's also rumored that Warzone 2 may appear on last gen consoles if sales on current gen are unsatisfactory. If that does come to pass, crossplay between different generations will not be applied, so last gen won't be able to play with current gen. More details regarding this came from Tom Henderson and MW2 Ghost, who asked contacts working on Warzone about this whole thing, and they said that they didn't even know about Warzone 2 until articles started popping up about it. So the game may not even be in development yet. The two leakers had a live stream discussing some of these topics, which you can check in the iCard up above. Personally, I think this is a good thing and a bad thing. Starting with the bad, it would mean that any skins that you purchased in Warzone will not carry over to Warzone 2, leaving behind many assets that have been a part of the game since its launch. However, this could be a good thing as well, as it allows the devs to really hone in on making the best possible iteration of Warzone without needing to test and bug fix around so many assets that may or may not be used by the community. This also might include a better anti-cheat, so we can play without the headache of being taken out by cheaters. As an example of this, Warzone is still plagued with cheaters, however, they're getting pretty bold with how cheats are implemented and used. For example, in another Dexerto article, cheaters are showcased to be using flying cars as a means for eliminating the rest of the lobby. So much so that flying cars are taking out helicopters by colliding with them. Even with the Ricochet anti-cheat, cheaters are still getting into Warzone lobbies and ruining the game for everyone, even if there are some funny clips that come out of it. Hopefully Warzone 2 will implement a better anti-cheat so we can play in peace. And that about wraps it up for this episode of Games on the Weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and check out the description for sources and my social media links. And feel free to comment down below about any of these stories or to let me know what you're playing. Stay hydrated, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.